Welcome to today's guided meditation. I'm going to start with a reading from a book called The Divine Romance by Paramahansa Yogananda, from the section called The Spectrum of Spiritual Consciousness. Just as a river has a source, so the river of consciousness has a source. It descends from cosmic consciousness, the consciousness of God that is beyond all creation. When cosmic consciousness comes into the realm of matter, into each of the forms, the atoms that make up the planets and island universes, and the different plant, animal, and human lives, that consciousness is called Christ consciousness. When Christ consciousness descends into the soul and pure mind of man, it is called superconsciousness. When superconsciousness descends into the realm of imagination, it is called subconsciousness. When subconsciousness descends into the muscular and sensory phase of human life, it is called human or waking consciousness. When waking consciousness becomes attached to the senses and material things, it is called worldly consciousness. And when it is used to want to harm oneself or others, it is called evil consciousness. But when it is used to do good things and to produce attunement with God, then it is called spiritual consciousness. These are the steps by which cosmic consciousness makes its entry into human consciousness, descending from spirit into the body and into our material and spiritual desires. In this way, cosmic consciousness becomes material consciousness as it flows downward and outward. So our souls are like derelicts, floating on this river of consciousness, going farther and farther away from their source in spirit toward the rocks of misery. The only way to stop this evolutional floating downward in the stream of consciousness is to swim against that current, to swim upstream back to the source of spirit. Those who are carried on and on with the downward flowing stream of consciousness toward finite proclivities are spoken of as having material consciousness, and those who are going upstream toward the source, the spirit, are spoken of as possessing spiritual consciousness. So take a deep breath in, exhale completely. Start to tune into the flow of consciousness within your body. Consciousness manifested as thoughts, as emotions, as the physical body itself, even as your surroundings. Tuning into consciousness as described as existing both on very surface levels in daily life and very deep levels on a more spiritual plane. And as we tune into this quality of consciousness as being the inherent substrate, the inherent fabric of existence, we can see that it underlies everything in the world. And as we understand that consciousness has come through a process of gradual refinement or unrefinement, depending on which direction you're going, that pure spirit, or like say in the simplest physical terms, say pure energy from the sun, can be converted into so many things. And that power of consciousness to transform, to create life, to sustain life, that's our goal here, is to be able to live a happy, joyful, healthy, wealthy, loving life, and to understand that these things that are the good, the true, and the beautiful are here for us to experience as we turn our consciousness inward. And this concept of material desire does not mean that when you let go of material desire that material disappears. It's just that the quote from the Bible, seek first the kingdom of God, and all shall be granted unto you. This experience of shifting the priority simply from outward to inward, and allowing our experience of life to unfold and to allow ourselves to unfold like the lotus blossom flower blooming in its own time. That there's a reason why we have material or physical or spiritual desires, and that it's important to acknowledge those things and express them, and to allow ourselves to live fully and experience life, and to do that from a state of high spiritual consciousness just makes that same experience that someone with material consciousness has just that much more brighter. And so it's interesting because there could be two people doing the same thing from two different states of consciousness, and you can see this all the time, but it's really fascinating to be made aware that we're all having different experiences, and of course you're the only one in charge of your experience. So being present and honoring your life and loving all parts of yourself and allowing yourself to be fully acknowledged, even just first by yourself. This is a great gift. So as we tune into consciousness in the body, consciousness in the mind, consciousness beyond the body and the mind, start to focus on the flow of breath, so that as it moves up and down the spine, focusing on the energy moving up the spine as you inhale, and the energy flowing back down the spine as you exhale. You don't have to extend your breath here immediately. You can just maintain whatever breath is naturally flowing for you at this time. And just allow your sense of consciousness to be withdrawn inward, sitting somewhere quiet, perhaps dark. Many yogis just make their meditation den in their closet for this reason. But wherever you happen to find yourself, even if it's allowed place. Just focus on that inner state of peace within you. And as you internalize your awareness, stilling the body, stilling the thoughts, it happens quicker with long, deep, slow breaths. If you're not already there, but once you're already there, already here, in your heart center, allowing that feeling of love to grow within you so big, like you could hug the entire world. Love and freedom go together. The more we give our love, the more we receive, and the more we understand the principle that love is always around us. And that if we don't have it, we can get it from other people, and at the same time, when we have it, we give it to others. And that the lighting of one candle from another does not diminish the original light of the candle. And so one candle of love can light 1,000 or 1,000,000 more. So as we tune into our heart center, internalize our consciousness, our awareness away from the physical senses, we can bring our focus with our eyes closed to this point between the eyebrows, the third eye, the Ajna chakra, the center of Christ consciousness. This is the point where higher consciousness is expressed, experienced. So as we focus our gaze internally at this point, the prefrontal cortex, we're sending energy to the most advanced part of our brain. The most advanced brain that exists on Earth is the human brain. We are the only creatures with a super evolved prefrontal cortex. So we use this eye focusing technique to further activate this area of the brain that is native to humans and yet unique to humans as well. So by directing our focus and energy slightly upwards and inwards to a single point between the eyebrows, we begin to magnetize energy in our brain, drawing the energy up the spine, away from the external surface layers of the skin or the senses, bringing that energy into the spine, inhaling that energy up, focusing on that point between the eyebrows. As we exhale, allowing superconscious energy to flow through the entire body, focusing on keeping our heart open and full of love through this entire process. And continue breathing deeply, rhythmically here, allowing your breath to be nice and smooth and even, focusing on making your breath equal in inhale and exhale. So the same amount of time as you lengthen the breath, Lengthen the exhale just as much as the inhale. Do your best to maintain this gentle, smooth flow as you resume your natural breathing. Start to focus on letting go of the body completely and focusing solely on that point between the eyebrows, awakening your superconsciousness, opening your heart to the massive flood of love from the universe flowing into your body. As you let it go, and you become a drop in the sea, dissolved into infinite oneness.